As I mentioned, I live downstate. A bunch of us here today live downstate, and but a bunch of my work is everywhere else. So as a result, I spend a lot of my downtime or in between time at O'Hare, caught in the O'Hare net, as I call it, in Terminal G. And there's these really creepy little structure bunnies as part of the architecture there that kind of come out at night, actually right at the magic hour. And I spend a lot of my time as a designer of theatrical and experience environments trying to capture the essence of the magic hour, which everybody knows is that period right around sunset when the light starts to just wreak havoc on clouds and buildings and even the air itself. I think I might have captured it best. This is a project, this is the rollout of the 787 Dreamliner for Boeing in Seattle. And so I used mesh panels to kind of capture the setting sun and the light and provide a sort of transition into theatrical light and pattern towards the end of the event. This was an evening-long kind of reception. A similar application, this was a party for Xerox. A lot of my work is corporate work. This was a party for Xerox in Dusseldorf as part of the Drupa print fair. And again, using layers of mesh and lots of atmosphere. These mesh panels are 50 feet by 70 feet wide, and there was 7 of them kind of arcing through this space. This is actually my son's first Pinewood Derby car, the K1 Hammerhead, which didn't win any trophies, although my son awarded me the award of Best Dad Ever, which was worth it, even though I kind of steamrolled the design and fabrication process of it. But the next year he did it all himself, and he actually won a design trophy in the design category, so I was very happy. I get to play with cars in my day job as well, designing press events and product launches for Ford and Volkswagen and Audi and a bunch of other companies. And this was a sketch for the shows that I do every year in Detroit as part of the Detroit Auto Show. And here's an installation shot actually at Cobo Arena. It's not exactly the Rolling Stones, but still there's a large amount of coordination that goes into the lighting and the media, the audio visual, and then also the actual presenters and the content and the products, which are cars themselves. A lot of the geometry in this is derived off of what we call the choreography of the show, which my wife is a dancer and she hates that term. She's like, that's so silly. And then I go around and take shots that the press can't get. I took this one standing right in front of the stage during a Jaguar event. More British stuff, which is laced throughout this entire presentation. This was another year doing the same show. So you can see we designed these huge ramps that the cars can drive around on. It's really fun. Reminds me of my days playing Matchbox cars down in the basement. On this particular one, I used a lot of black acrylic, which was a really neat kind of blingy surface. But it's also kind of a cool negative space. And I actually took a lot of that black acrylic from that Ford show and recycled it into an Audi show that you see here that was done later that year. It was so cool. I just love that stuff because it's actually you're looking at nothing or you're looking at something else. You know, you're not looking at the thing itself, which was kind of cool. I'm not even sure what the next slide is because I've dived. Oh, this is have you ever been to the Fig Museum, Davenport, Iowa? David Chipperfield rocks, right? A friend of mine took this photograph of me kind of hanging out in this atrium, and I love the way the light plays through the curtain walls and creates those crazy zigzag shapes. I love the sort of multiplying of simple shapes to make something that you didn't see before. This was an initial sketch for the launch of Nintendo's Wii at the Kodak Theater in Los Angeles a few years ago, and I kind of took the same idea of really simple forms and kind of exploded them out. If you guys are familiar, if you've ever seen the Oscars or if you've ever been to the Kodak, you know that it's this magnificent soaring space designed by Rockwell, actually. Yeah, Rockwell. And so I kind of wanted to make something that was really small and almost too small for this volume, but then throughout the process of the program, it actually expanded and morphed into different shapes and formats. So it started out actually with a very simple wedge of aluminum and mesh with a logo hanging in front of it. And then right at the beginning of the program, the upper level flew up and the logo flew up, revealing what looked like a shadow of the logo, but was actually another light box. And then as it continued throughout the program, where they introduce all the new games that are coming out on this fabulous little device, there were stairs that extruded out from the sides and revealed an upper level where gamers did a whole bunch of demonstrations of the new games. There were also pneumatic doors in the wedge that lifted up to reveal presenters. Really fun project. So eventually it filled the entire volume of the space of the Kodak, which is really massive. I snapped a shot of a friend of mine playing piano out at the Robert Allerton House in Monticello. I don't know if you guys have ever been there. It's a really cool kind of Georgian building, an old residence. But I love the way that the mullions in these windows with the winter light kind of coming through created almost kind of a negative space. So I took that idea and I played that into a design for the Champaign-Urbana Ballet's The Nutcracker, which is an annual production we do at the Krannert Center excuse me, down in Champaign, and actually created a backdrop which is over 1,000 individual panes of frosted acrylic with the shiny side kind of facing the audience. So it serves as almost like a hall of mirrors kind of effect, but it also serves as a giant pattern for casting light through the entire proceedings going on downstage. It's a really great show. If you ever get to go down to Champaign, it's a great show to go down and see. Little promotion there. You like that? I thought I'd end with a local project. This was the opening ceremonies for the Gay Games here a couple years ago at Soldier Field, and working with Jam Productions and the creative director Kyle Osier, we came up with this it was a really inexpensive effect, but we were taking all 12,000 of the participating athletes and actually making them into the spectacle. So we gave each one of them color-coded LEDs that then we shut off all the lights in Soldier Field, and it formed a 12,000 pixel pride flag that pretty much covered the entire floor of the space. So thank you again to Kudo for asking me to come up here. I really appreciate it. You guys rock, and to Peter as well.